I'm glad you two are here. We don't have any time to waste.
Yeah, some pretty serious shit we got going on here.
Hey, gang, what's up? Why are we down here? Something looks Oh my god. Babs! Where are all the roots?
They're dead, Lily. Let me explain.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
Shut up, Lily. Let her explain.
Someone put herbicide in the cistern water.
How'd they do that?
The sheriff is going to explain that part. It's why we needed Lily for your part.
What happens next?
Well, the greenhouse and the bleachers are safe. For now. The Vault-Tec purifier detected it and immediately shut down the intake. Thankfully, not a single drop made it into the greenhouse. But the entire cistern is contaminated. I need to neutralize it with a treatment before we can turn the pumps back on.
You said it's safe for now. How long we got?
Not long at all. I've got enough water for the greenhouse and the tanks for 2 days. The rest of us immediately have to go into water rationing.
Just how much water are we talking here, Bob?
No showers, food, or fabric operations. I mean, the water is safe for us and for fabrics. It's an herbicide, not a person-cide. But the entire bleacher's water supply goes through the Vault-Tec purifier and into the same tanks I use for the greenhouse. We don't have a branched water supply. It means we all have the cleanest water outside of any vault, but it also means we draw from the same reserve. You're going to have to use bottled soda instead of the soda fountain, and stop other business. We can't spare water to wash dishes or prep food. The problem is the entire East Wall complex uses between 30 and 40,000 liters of water a day, more during a heat wave. My greenhouse uses about 80% of that. Textile uses 10%, and the remainder is for the diner and the rest of the bleachers and sheriff's department.
Shit, that's a lot of water. I had no idea, Bob. I can scale back operation and turn us back into a bottled soda shop until it's fixed, yeah. Keeping that greenhouse running is more important.
Thanks, DP. I'm going to cut back the vines today to save water for the cotton and crops. Removing as much gas exchange surface area from the greenhouse as possible can get us a few more days out of our supply. This isn't a problem that can't be fixed, but it's going to take industrial-scale chemical interventions, and it has to happen fast. Unfortunately, the treatment is at Mass Chem, and Lily...
Yeah, I'm not going back there.
That's right, you're not. We sent Crenshaw already. We need you for something else. The sheriff will explain.
We initially thought this was an inside job, as cistern security is so high. That didn't turn out to be the case. The card reader log shows Deputy Hewitt was the only one who accessed the cistern in the last 24 hours.
The scout that got killed by the gunners a couple months ago on the east side?
The same. We reported his death accurately, but withheld certain details from the report to aid in the investigation. Specifically, there were signs of torture on his body, and his badge and card were missing along with most of his other belongings. At the time, we attributed it to typical gunner greed. But now that his card has been used to access the cistern, we are suspecting something more. We're running on the assumption he was tortured into giving up intel about the department prior to being murdered and dumped. The easiest explanation after that would be they hired or threatened a Green Zone secure civilian into accessing the cistern with the card. Someone we know and see regularly. Someone who wouldn't attract attention wandering around Wright Field by themselves.
The gunners, huh? You think they might still be a bit sore about, you know.
There wasn't any reason to suspect that had any involvement at the time of Hewitt's murder. As I said, just typical gunner greed. Circumstances are different now. So answering that part of the question is the second part of this mission. We know this. Hewitt was alive, confirmed by autopsy. And we never heard him radio for help. This was a well-planned abduction. He was also operating in the same area his body was found. So they likely were in the area long enough to gather intel for an effective abduction.
I don't get it. Where do I come in then?
Hewitt's body was found less than half a click from the residence of a farmer I'm told you are familiar with. The old man with the house overlooking the ruins of Fort Independence. I believe he was one of the first Atom Cat beneficiaries.
Oh yeah, Cooter. I know him. He's a good guy. We dropped one of those household fusion generators off for him a few years back. He likes to brew his own beer, you know? Grows his own grain for it, too. That reminds me, I gotta tell Babs about my suggestion for
Thank you, Lily. Talk to him. See if he knows anything about Hewitt's murder or the people who did it. This is strictly fact-finding. Understand? If he saw anything, they likely threatened him with death if he told anyone. So he may need to be bribed or threatened for the info. I don't need to tell you the doctor's greenhouse is the lifeblood of our entire operation. The water purifier, the food, the cotton. Without it, the entire effort withers and dies. Plain and simple. If that farmer knows anything, question him. Try to find out who did this and why they went after us.
You got it, Sheriff. We won't let you down.
One last thing, Lily.
Yeah?
Don't bite off more than you can chew. This is strictly a fact-finding mission.
Hey, it's me! I know my limits better than anyone.
No way to pick this.
Is that you? It's Cooter. Over here. Don't go in there. They'll kill you. Follow me.
Cooter? What's up? Hey, wait up.
Hey
I'm
there.
coming. Cooter? What the hell, man? What are you doing in here?
What am I doing in here? Why don't you ask that goddamn sheriff of yours? Going around starting shit with the gunners, poking hornets' nests.
Whoa, slow down. Start from the beginning. What's going on?
Gunners, Lily. Gunners been living in my house for 4 months now. They made me live in my tool shed, farm my crops, and give them the food. And it's all been a fucking get your scout. All the shit just to get one guy. That's how much trouble your sheriff hero's been starting.
Wait, you mean the gunners that took Hewitt are here? Right now? In your house?
That's the poor bastard's name, yeah. I'll never forget it. That's all he'd tell him. They tortured him, and he just kept repeating his name. He died for your sheriff's department. And now I'm living in a tool shed and shitting in a pot for them, too.
Jeez, Cooter. I'm sorry. I had no idea.
Fuck your sorries, Lily. Why the hell you guys gotta go starting trouble and leaving us to clean up the mess?
Hey, no reason to keep chewing me out, Cooter. I ain't one of the department. And you know damn well the sheriff doesn't start shit. She finishes it. Diamond City would be Gunner City if it wasn't for her and Oaks. And the Gunners would have made slaves out of the half of us they didn't kill. She don't go picking fights, and you know it. But you can't expect us to roll over and take it. Not like you did here for 4 months, apparently.
Take it? I'm just an old man, Lily. There's a whole squad in my house. I ought to shoot you for saying shit like that.
Oh, you're gonna shoot me for calling you a pansy, but not a gunner for taking your house and turning you into a slave on your own land, tough guy?
Oh, I'll shoot you right in that big fucking mouth of yours.
Bring it, you old fart. I'll punch your goddamn head down into your chest cavity and level your house with you and the gunners inside. Exactly what you're doing. these assholes really drink every last one of the beers? Seriously though, look around. These guys were the ones who took Hewitt. We might have some intel around here. I'll check out this terminal. These are the assholes who took Hewitt, all right. They planned this for months, and we're hours from bugging out of here. The entry mentions the Hub City operation you did for Oaks, which means Devola was in town for something larger. And these guys were working with Hub City and that squad in Vault 75, which means they were all a part of this larger operation. Hey, you know what I just thought of? Did you check for intel when you took out Devola?
No. It wasn't in the mission description.
Looting everything in sight and giving me heavy shit to carry ain't usually in the mission description either, but you managed to do that just fine.
Look at this goddamn mess! Those fucking gunners trashed my place! They drank all my beer, too! Why'd they have to drink all the beer?
Man, I'm really sorry they fucked your shit up, Cooter. I'll have Delano radio Zeke at the garage. They can come help you clean up. I'll even mention he needs to bring some beer with him. That sound good?
Well, it doesn't sound good, but it sounds better than where I was this morning when I woke up. So it'll do, little Lily. It'll do. I just want to sit on my porch, watch the ocean, and drink beer. Is that too much to ask?
That sounds like paradise, my friend. I'm gonna have to swing by on my next run and join you.
Listen, Lily. I wanted to apologize for yelling at you earlier about the sheriff. We all heard of her out here. We all know their camouflage. I wanted to tell you guys, but I just didn't feel safe. Those gunners kidnapped your friend all right. I saw them set up the ambush point. I didn't see what they did to him, because they carted him off. But they dumped his body back where they found him.
It's okay. I understand what it's like to be alone. You're out here by yourself. I'm glad you're still alive for what it's worth, Cooter. Anything else you can tell us that was important?
Whenever they talked plans, it was pretty obvious they were reporting to some colonel. They never said his name, just called him the colonel. They sure went to a lot of trouble to get your guy quietly and alive. It took them a couple of months of just waiting and watching. I remember them talking about this colonel guy because two of them were bickering over who got to deliver the good news to him. They were supposed to get your guy talking and send the info to this colonel. After that, they just waited around for a while and drank all my beer.
You sure about that? Did they say where he was? Where they were taking their reports?
No, they never said where they'd go off to. And we live out here on a peninsula, so you always gotta walk west to get out of here first. But there's more, so shut up for a second, I'll get to it.
Sorry.
So just last week, I seen them dragging a settler and his daughter down here and rough them both up. They put a gun to her head and threatened to shoot her. They handed the father something and screamed to him, "Get it done!" The father came back yesterday, and they returned his daughter to him. I don't know what he was doing for them, but he didn't have no choice.
Guarantee it was whoever dumped this herbicide in the water supply. Gotta remind the sheriff he was forced before she finds out who it was. Anything else before we bounce out of here, Cooter?
Yeah, they had me slaving for 4 months, Lily. You tell the sheriff she's got a hell of a blind spot in the way those patrols operate.
That's just it, Cooter. They're patrols, not frontline troops. They ain't got the manpower to defend the entire Commonwealth.
I ain't talking about a bodyguard, Lily. I mean her scouts ain't never stopped to say hi to anyone who didn't have something to trade. All Hewitt had to do was ask one of the other local settlers, and he would have heard all about how the gunners were watching him. Now he's dead.
Gee, I see what you mean about that, Cooter. You make a really good point. I'm gonna have to talk to the sheriff and Crenshaw about that.
The only thing better than a beer on the deck is a beer on the deck with a buddy. You tell the other scouts I said that.
I will. Who knows? Maybe they can bring some oranges with them for you.
Some orange what?
Oranges? They're fruit.
Orange fruit? What kind?
Orange... You know what? Never mind. You'll be seeing one of them scouts in a few days. Try not to shoot him, okay?
Wouldn't dream of it, little Lily. I'll be here. I've always been here.
I grabbed a holotape of this asshole's journal. We gotta get it to the sheriff. But I got a sneaking suspicion this all has something to do with events in the past coming back to bite us in the ass. Let's stop by Hub City on the way back. See if we can find any intel where you iced Evola. Try to tie this all together. Full body cavity search. Don't stop till you feel the back of their tonsils.
Entering killing mode. Your AV is now available. Critical damage has been executed. Critical damage has been executed.
Hey.
Unit level increased.
Last mistake! Back to Bola and a bunch of gunners here. Where's all the bodies? Hey, what's that hanging over that workbench over there? That a brooch? You wanna ease yourself That noose the brooch was hanging on wasn't an accident. It's a safe assumption they cleared any intel out of here already. But this just confirms my suspicions about what's going on. Let's get back to the sheriff by way of a stop at my room first. You're getting caught up in something old and bitter. You deserve an explanation.
Operator lock 4. Switching to step.
What's happening? So, that explanation you're owed about the sheriff and the gunners. Huh. Where to begin? You see, they got a history that is making this cistern incident a little more complicated than you might think. I know Babs mentioned what happened to the sheriff in Pennsylvania with the gunners a while back at dinner night. That's where it starts. But it doesn't end there. There was a little incident here in Diamond City the gunners perpetrated. The sheriff's response? We call that the message around here. The message in the FSD motto, Mite Nuntius, more specifically. It's a touchy subject around here, because the gunners killed so many citizens at Diamond City that day.
What happened?
That story about a squad going AWOL from the Brotherhood by stealing a couple of vertibirds in the middle of the night? All true. The 4 lieutenants are all that's left of them now that the years in the wasteland have taken their toll. They stole a fuck ton of plasma weapons and well over a dozen T-60s when they left. The same T-60s the department uses today. Gary was there too. He's a civilian, but they've looked out for him since Crenshaw found him starving to death in a subway station in the capital. After they left, they hooked up with the outcasts in the Allegheny Mountains and lived there in exchange for the vertibirds and plasma weapons. If you ain't heard that whole story, go talk to one of the lieutenants. They got this unwritten rule around here that you don't talk about battles and struggles you weren't there for. I'm about to break that rule, because you're out here dodging bullets for this bad blood between us and the gunners.
Tell me the long version.
The sheriff got a job as a caravan guard after the outcasts fitted her with that fucking kick-ass arm of hers. She wanted to see what's out there. Gotta admit, if you were a raider and you saw a 6'4" bruiser like her sporting that arm, would you hit that caravan? Nah, you'd hit the next one. One of the stops on the caravan's route was here in Diamond City. They'd show maybe once a month, stay for a couple days, and move on. I was probably a tweener back then. That's the problem with being an orphan. I don't know exactly how old I am. Anyway, back then we only knew her as the mean-looking guard with the cool arm who wouldn't talk. Most of the younger girls wanted to be her back then. Total hero worship for the girl with no name image, you know? I'd follow her around the city when she was here, trying to act like her and imitate the way she walked. I know, pretty pathetic. The merchant she worked for, Fiddle, was a real cool guy. One of the most popular merchants I've ever seen. Not a wet blanket like Lucas Miller. He'd park out front and have candy for the kids when he was handing out the mail, relaying news and returning with the special request items. Then, in one of the smartest marketing maneuvers of all time, he'd whip out his fiddle and make it sing so he could dance and shit. He'd get a sizable crowd out there, and we'd turn it into a mini afternoon festival of sorts. Kinda became a tradition before long. That was the problem, though. We got predictable. Huge crowd out front, giant wide open gate into the city behind him. We were so stupid. So predictable. One of them afternoons, the gunners launched a surprise attack on the city. Started with one of them, the Vola, launched a fat man round right into the middle of the crowd from a blown out window across the street. They killed almost 30 of us in that blast, including the heads of security, Fiddle, guards, women and kids. Oaks worked security. His wife and daughter were killed. But he didn't find out till it was all over, thankfully. It spared him at least some pain. It's only sheer luck that I'm alive. I had to go back in to get some caps I saved up because I wanted one of them lemonades he was selling. The gunners had planned on dropping that mini-nuke and then waltzing right in, because they charged the wide open front gate right after that. There was hardly anyone left alive out front, but Oaks and the sheriff were 2 of them, so the sheriff took charge. I didn't see it firsthand, I was just a little girl, but I'm told the 2 of them emptied all their ammo and grenades stolen in the charge. They were able to turn the would-be fall of Diamond City into a day-long urban combat quagmire instead. Not a bad deal when you think about it. Long story short, the sheriff led him that day into not only beating the gunners across the river to Cambridge, but captured 30 or so of them too. But we had no idea what to do with the ones we caught. Well, food isn't exactly in generous supply in the wasteland, you know. So, we marched him into an alleyway north of the city, and kept him there that night, sitting on the ground, under lots of armed guards. The next morning, the sheriff sent her famous message everyone tells you to talk to Oaks when you ask about it. The sheriff started that day by launching a flare to get the attention of the gunners that retreated across the river, still licking their wounds. We, and I mean the whole city, marched them gunners north, up to the south shore of the river, and hung them, one by one, from the lampposts. We strung them up all along the river from the amphitheater to the alley where we had kept them the night before. That run-of-the-mill alley got a new name that day, Hangman's Alley. And the sheriff wasn't nice about it neither. This was no drop and snap hanging, not by a long shot. She used baling wire, didn't give them hoods, didn't tie their feet, and hoisted them up with a Brahmin on the other end of the line, slowly. Some of those fuckers took 5 or 10 minutes to stop kicking. I'd spit when I mentioned them, but I don't spit on my floor. She made them all watch their buddies die, one by one, till it was their turn to get the run up to the top of the next lamppost. And the ones watching from across the river? Did they ever go fucking apeshit seeing their buddies die? The flare did its job. They saw everything. But there was nothing they could do about it. We beat the shit out of them. They were in no shape to stop us, much less from across the river. They had to sit there and take their medicine while we hoisted their friends as high as they could go, kicking, gagging, and bleeding out their eyes and ears. We made the bodies the gift that kept on giving by leaving them up there to rot. Time and the elements eventually took them down. To rub salt in the wound, we took the ones we killed in the firefight and slung them over the river wall for the crows and dogs to tear apart. Practically overnight, the Commonwealth heard about what Diamond City did, and the literal new sheriff in town. She hit the gunners so hard their grandparents felt it. We haven't had a gunner attack on the city since. But what we found out today, and the Cistern, and Hub City, something tells me they're dying for a rematch.
Tell me more. Uh-huh. Right. Uh-huh. 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 Mm-hmm. Sure.
Back, Sheriff.
I can see that.
How's the water doing?
Crenshaw returned already with the treatment. We should be operating at full capacity sometime tomorrow. Crisis averted.
Crenshaw returned with the treatment. The doctor is flushing the system now to make sure all traces of the herbicide are removed. Report. What did you two find out there?
There are more gunners involved in this.
I assume they were operating under orders. What did you find by Fort Independence?
Turns out the gunners were operating out of my friend's house. He saw most of it. We iced the gunners for him, and he was more than happy to help.
So much for fact-finding.
Kuda was pretty upset, Sheriff. He wasn't gonna tell us nothing until he got his house back. Part of the intel was locked up in his head.
I see. So what facts did you find?
We got this holotape with the CEO's journal on it. Kuda said they took Hewitt alive and were talking about working for someone else. Which, gunners do. But we went through their terminal after we iced them to have a look. And this seems to be a gunner operation. Nobody hired him to kidnap Hewitt. They're doing this themselves.
Continue.
Kuda said he was afraid to come forward because he had no backup out there. And I gotta admit, he is alone out there. It makes him a great victim. Basically, he said he'd agree to be our eyes and ears out there if the scouts stop by and have a few beers with him on their patrol. And you gotta know, Kuda said whoever spiked the water here was forced under threat of having his daughter killed. So once you do find out who it was, keep that under consideration when figuring out what to do with him.
Good work. And the gunners?
Oh yeah, almost forgot about him. Duh, Lily. Where were we? Oh yeah. So you'll see on this guy's journal he talks about Devola and the gunner Crenshaw whacked in Vault 75 being officers for this operation of theirs. Turns out, the ones in the vault were tasked with kidnapping random schlubs for the Institute as a revenue stream to fund this whole thing. And the ones in my friend's house were in charge of poisoning the cistern. They succeeded and were set to leave tomorrow. So we headed back to Hub City where Devola lost his head and looked for intel, because nobody told my sidekick here to look for it the first time.
Well, I'm glad you were smart enough to do so, Lily.
Someone had been by to clean up the bodies, so that place ain't fully abandoned. They definitely took anything of value out of there, though. But they left Oakes's FSD brooch behind. Remember the calling card put on Devola's body? It was wired to blow, of course. But what was really interesting is that it was hanging from a noose, Sheriff. A noose. You know what that probably means.
It would seem the gunners need to be taught a new lesson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So what's the next step?
For you, nothing. Thanks to you two, we have a significant amount of intel that needs analyzing before we can act on it. But there is a pressing matter that we could use your friend's help with. Lieutenant Dan is waiting for you in the conference area. He'll have your payment. There is also another matter we could use your help with. The lieutenant will have the details, but briefly, there's a loose end regarding the Gunner Institute link you uncovered. We'd like to fix it.
Mission objective completed.
That's all.
All right, then.
New mission objective received.
Can I assume you're ready for your mission now?
I'm ready. What's the plan?
The holotape of the gunner lieutenant you killed in Vault 75 contained many encrypted journal entries, as well as the ones you read. This Lieutenant O'Brien was overseeing a running kidnapping contract for the Institute to raise revenue for an as-of-yet undetermined purpose. His company would kidnap as directed by the Institute, deliver their objective, and collect their substantial payment. He was under explicit orders from his commanding officer not to kidnap from Diamond City, our organization, or anyone under our protection. While that raises questions about what purpose they needed so many caps for, that is not why you're here. The only reason we know of this operation at all is because Lieutenant O'Brien got greedy, disobeyed orders, and took a contract to kidnap Lily.
Fucking typical. Only two things you can count on in this world. Gunners being greedy, and the shit hitting the fan I'm holding.
We'd call it a lucky break, but that ignores what Lily's been through. Nevertheless, it was not the only outside contract the lieutenant took. The lieutenant set out a squad with the goal of kidnapping either Dr. McClintock or Mr. Dr. Pepper as targets of opportunity. The squad has been operating independently and is unaware that O'Brien's company was liquidated by Crenshaw and yourself. Neither Dr. McClintock nor Mr. Dr. Pepper leave the city very often, or regularly. When they do, they book passage with a caravan for safety. This necessitates the gunners setting up a spotter to monitor the entrance to Diamond City to give their squad advance notice. Lieutenant Harkins has found that spotter, sitting in a building south of the front gate to the city, not far from Hardware Town. We don't want the spotter, though. We want the whole squad. So we're laying a trap, and you're the bait. That makes this particularly dangerous.
Don't you worry, Dan. It's okay if we need to risk my sidekick's life for this mission. That's a chance I'm willing to take to protect my friends.
Great. So what do you need me to do?
You're going to pretend to be Mr. Dr. Pepper. He's waiting for you in his room. He's been briefed and will have a set of clothes for you to wear. Put them on. You then meet Carla at the front gate. We've booked passage for you with her caravan to Abernathy Farm and told her to make it known. You will proceed with Carla to the outskirts of the fens to ensure the gunner spotter sees you dressed as Mr. Dr. Pepper leaving the city. Once you're outside the fens, you'll break off from Carla for her protection and proceed to Abernathy Farm on roads by way of Walden Pond. The gunners will know your destination and are likely to kidnap you close to Abernathy because they can predict you will be near there eventually. Lieutenant Crenshaw, his scouts, and some snipers will be following you from a distance behind in anticipation of the kidnapping attempt. Your job is to draw out the gunner kidnapping squad and keep them busy until Lieutenant Crenshaw and his men can arrive. Lieutenant Crenshaw may have more orders from there which are need to know depending on mission status. Obey them and you will be paid handsomely.
Glad you took a job offer. Let's hope you don't become feral child like the last one. Anyway, Lieutenant Dan stopped by earlier and told me you're going to be needing a set of my clothes and a hat. Guess you're playing me for a little bit, huh? I already heard from Bob about how the gunners have a contract on bringing the two of us to the Institute alive. I've got to assume they want to do the same thing to us they did to Lily. What the fuck is up with that? I don't know nothing about that place.
That's the plan. You're a wanted man.
Hey, playing me is easy. You just gotta give out shitty medical advice and try to sell them Nuka-Cola.
We'll take care of those gunners for you.
I don't doubt that. I don't know how handy you are with gunners, but the FSD, they're real good at killing gunners. Real good. You'll see. The worst part is I don't know nothing about how the FSD operates, but the gunners don't know that. If they got me, they torture me to death trying to get the info I don't have in the first place. Bob, however, between you and me, if Dan's the sheriff's right hand, Bob's her brain. She knows their operations inside and out. She ain't got no official rank, but even the lieutenants do what she tells them. She gets caught, and the Institute might as well have an open book on damn near everything that goes on in that place. What's worse, they'd have Bob. You know, I could barely stand losing Lily.
Aw, DP. I'd give you a hug, but I'd crush you in this power armor. You're the best.
No, I mean it. I'm not a complete fool, just 95% fool. I know you all see how I feel about Bob. I love her. And even if she's still trying to make up her mind about me, that doesn't change anything for me. Whatever the sheriff has planned, I know it's not over tonight. She don't play the short game. But tonight is where you make sure Bob is safe. And you've got my personal gratitude for that. Stop by the shop sometime after it's over for some free lunch and as much Nuka-Cola as you can carry, okay?
I will.
DP and Babs sitting in a tree.
Is it Halloween already? Well, hey there, pup.
Hey, Aunt Carla. Carla's the one who found me and brought me to
I'm ready to help with whatever you need. Just say the word.
Good to be working with you.
Whatever you say.
Hold up there, traveler. All right, that's far enough, you soda-pushing pansy. We got guns on you. There's more of us than there are of you, so if you want to stay alive, you'll just do what we tell you. Now, nice and easy, drop whatever cute settler pipe pistol you got, then put your hands up.
Hi there. You guys want to buy any refreshing Nuka-Cola?
You got a one-track mind, don't you?
Have you tried our new Green Gunner Extreme Nuka Mix?
Gunner Green? Ooh. No, you got any?
Hey, Sarge, you sure this is our guy? This don't look like the guy in the picture.
Back in line, Corporal.
Sure, what the fuck do I know? I'm only the guy who didn't take a flamethrower to the eyes last year.
Excuse me, Corporal. Care to repeat that?
I'm just saying, sir, that due to the nature and severity of your injuries...
Just what are you suggesting, Corporal?
I'm suggesting, sir, that the same person who was mistaken our bent lamppost for our assaultron might not be the best at deciding if this is our mark.
You are out of line, Corporal. This is your last warning.
Nah, I'm serious, sir. I'm pretty sure this ain't the guy in the pic. I mean...
This is about the guacamole at the Christmas party, isn't it?
What? No, I don't care about that. It's just, this ain't the...
Admit it, I didn't like your shitty guacamole and you'll never get over it.
Hey, that's not fair. I told you I worked all day on that.
Ha! I knew it! Then I got the Jangles pajamas and Razor scooter you wanted at the White Elephant Secret Santa. You're holding a grudge from the Christmas party. It pisses you off every time I wheel down the hallways of the vault. Admit it!
God damn it, Sarge. This is not our guy.
Who the hell else wears these ridiculous clothes? You see that? Even I can see that.
Yes, I see the jacket, the jeans, the hat, but it's not him in there. Wait. If it's not him in there... Ah, fuck!
Grenade!
Good work. At least everything's gone to plan so far.
So far?
We got more work to do. The CEO of this ham-handed ambush has a transponder. Grab it and head to the cabin southeast of here. We've secured an old bunker underneath the cabin accessible through a hatch. Meet us there and we'll move to the next part of the operation.
The fuck is guacamole?
No, I'm keeping it.
We need that transponder.
Free advice? You really...
Don't ruin a good thing.
Right. Here you go.
Excellent work. All right, deputies, listen. We got... As we said in the brief...
Sure.
And so what... All right, deputies, charges armed, jammer armed. Stand by while we place a call in 3. Remember to wait for them. 3, 2, 1...
It's about time you contacted us. We can't wait. What the?
Motherfucker. Pop the EMP. Jammer up. Linda, go.
D115, commence emergency relay. D115, commence emergency relay.
Problems, friend?
D115, commence emergency relay.
Yeah, ain't happening, pal. Tell you what, though. I got someone who wants to talk to you if your boys back at home don't like you no more.
D115, requesting emergency relay. Immediately.
You one of those brain-damaged synths?
You would do best to release me. Immediately.
Actually, the way I see it, with that knee, we're your only hope. Otherwise, some beastie's gonna roll through here and make short work out of the meat wrapped around that fucked up digital brain.
My life is inconsequential compared to the Institute's plans.
Plans?
Oh, is that what you call them? Plans? And make no mistake, you ain't alive, buddy. Now about that person who wants to talk to you. Okay, guys, get that thing in his eyes. Make sure that jammer stays close to it and on, Sarge.
Holy shit, Crenshaw. Did we just take a courser alive?
You had nothing to do with this, Lily. The sheriff finds out, I'll let you in on this, and all of our asses are in a sling. All of us. Remember that.
Same here, kid. Keep that mouth zipped.
That worked like a fucking charm. Maybe we do have a chance against the Institute. If they don't find us and kill us first.
Hi.
One last task for you. We're taking this to our safe house east of 10 Pines. We need you to go clear it out for us. Make sure no one sees us coming. Normally, it's empty, but sometimes assholes move in if we haven't used it in a while. I need you to double check and clear it if it's infested.
What are you going to do with him?
We're gonna mind our own damn business. That's what we're gonna do.
One house cleaning coming right up.
Excellent. We'll wait a little bit to give you time to work and meet you there with it not long from now.